Hello, everybody. This is Cameron Hand, the fantasy man, coming at you from my couch. I'm in my living room. We got a week 7 fantasy recap coming for you. Lots to talk about. Let's try to fly through the beginning here because lots of dabs this week. Every week, I think I'm like, oh man, it's going to be a struggle to get a good amount of dabs going here. And then every week, you all just blow my mind by the amount of dabs that are taken. So let's go. Worst matchup, Logan versus Bobby. Super low scoring, not close whatsoever. So whenever you have a super low scoring match and it's not close, pretty boring. Best matchup was Doug versus Will. Close matchup, came down to Monday night. Pretty high scoring. Lots of intensity there. So that was a great matchup. Worst injury luck. I'm going to give it to Ashton because of DK Metcalf and Justin Fields being out. He very well maybe could have won if Justin Fields played and had like a nice game and DK had a nice game. So I think, worst injury luck goes to Ashton this week. Not anything too wild happened on the injury front, I don't believe, this week. So Ashton will come away with it. Worst or most unlucky is definitely Ashton. Third most points in the league and still lost. I mean, that's unbelievably unlucky. Sorry about that, Ashton. Luckiest was Bobby. He put up 101 in a must win. Yeah, it was like 101 or something he put up. And it was like an absolute must win for him. And he pulled it off. So that was unbelievably lucky by Bobby. Dumbest move was me for starting Jordan Love and not running with my guys. So I had Lawrence playing on a Thursday. Lawrence was coming off an injury. He hasn't even been that good when he's healthy. And he was playing against the Saints D, who was pretty good, who's been pretty good against QB. So I was just like, you know what? I'm going to go with Jordan Love against Denver. I mean, Jordan Love got like 3 less points than Lawrence, but like still dumb to not go with your guys. That's one of my big things is stick with your guys, stick with your boys. It's good for the fantasy gods to see you sticking with your guys, believing in them. Don't take Trevor Lawrence out for Jordan Love. Like, not worth it. Stick with your guys. I also had to drop maybe a player that I might have wanted to keep, and that just kind of messed with my whole team dynamic. Adding a second quarterback. So that was pretty dumb, but it is what it is. Smartest move was Will for playing Deontay Foreman, putting up 33 points. Deontay Foreman. He also went with Deontay Johnson, Tutu Atwell. He kind of had to, but it paid off for him. Those guys played really well. Even though he lost, they were still the smartest moves done. Most of all the moves were just general. Nobody really did anything too smart, but I would say Will playing those guys was pretty good move, and picking up Dante Foreman also obviously a good move. So I'm gonna go with Logan picking up Kendrick Bourne as the best free agent move. Now that I'm thinking about it, it probably actually was Deontay Johnson pickup from Will that was the best free agent move. But I think Kendrick Bourne might have a little bit more of a lasting impact, maybe. And also, I didn't know if Will picked up Dante Foreman this week. So whatever, we'll stick with Logan getting the best free agent pickup. Stock falling is Hunter. I don't like to put stock falling on the same person 2 weeks in a row, but really, I don't feel like anybody's stock is really falling that much other than Hunter's right now. Everyone's pretty stagnant. But Hunter, has put up 3 losses in a row, put up 104 points this week. So I would say stock's falling. I would say Sam's stock is skyrocketing right now. Um, I mean, at least he's been on the radar for me as always. But 3 wins in a row. Looked at his team, gave it a good hard look, and his team's sick. I mean, Devontae Adams and Mike Evans and AJ Brown, and I'm just like, wow, he's got a good team. So he's fun on the radar, second in the league right now, looking pretty good. Best player was Alec this week, 189 points. Got to give it to him. I hate to give Alec credit, but his team looked nice this week. I've been wrong about a few of his players, but But yeah, anyway, so best player, Alec, 189. Never thought that would happen. Worst player is Logan, sub 100 points. Whenever you get sub 100 points, it's an instant worst player. Caitlin's coming back in the room. What's the package? Shampoo. Oh, it's like hair stuff. Okay. Who has that dog? I'm gonna go with Alec this week, and you know how much I hate giving Alec any props. But he came in and he smoked everybody with the highest score, proving me wrong at every turn. His tight ends popped off. Alvin Kamara popped off. I've always hated on his team, and he just came in and took care of business. I really was impressed by it. Here are the rankings this week. We got Connor staying up top. We got Dylan dropping to 3. Sam dropping to 2. Doug going from 6 to 4 with a good showing. Me with a bad showing going from 4 to 7. Greg staying the same. Doug going up from 6 to 4. Right. Hunter going from 7 to 8. Just a slight down tick for him. Ash going slight down there. 7 to 10 just because or 9 to 10. I'm sorry, I'm getting all this mixed up. Bobby, dropping from 10 to 11. Alec making a pretty big jump from 11 to 9. He's on the move, and then Logan stays the same. So that's what we got. Lots of 10s here. I feel like Doug, Greg, and Will, their teams are solid, right there. And Sam and Dylan similar. They're tiers to this thing. But anyway, let's continue to next week's worst matchup is Dylan versus Logan. Not an important matchup. I do predict Dylan will win, but just not really important. Next week's best matchup is me versus Alec. Huge rivalry between me and Alec. Whoever wins is in great shape. If I win, then I, probably go up to 3 or, 4, or I stay at 5. If Alec wins, he goes to 4 or 5. The loser is going to go down to like 7 probably. So huge matchup. I do predict Alec will beat me. All the, signs have been pointing to Alec beating me. And yeah, I mean, there's not much more to say. I mean, I think I kind of deserve the loss to Alec at this point. And, normally that's, how it works out is whoever deserves the loss gets in. I think Alec has played the season relatively well and, played the game right. And I've done okay, but I think he's gonna beat me. Season segments. Okay, we got a lot of dabs coming up here. My voice is probably going to get pretty strained doing this, but let's do it anyway. We got Bobby Saturday for leaving Georgia. 1 dab. That's all I got to say there. We got Bobby for playing rugby. Oh, hold on. Sorry. We got Bobby for playing rugby. 1 dab. It's like, who in the world cares about rugby? At least in America. Bobby for bringing a rugby ball to the soccer fields. 1 dab. I don't know why you would ever do that. Bobby for trying to teach people how to throw a rugby ball. 2 dabs. It's not that hard, Bobby. I hate to break it to you. You kind of just spin it and toss to someone. He's trying to show Dylan how to throw a rugby ball, and obviously Dylan got it down in 1 throw because it was super easy. Bobby for blaming others for drinking too much when he is the problem. He has been blaming people for the fact that while he's been here, he's been drinking a lot. But then, as you see here, Bobby woke up at 4 a.m. at his own house just to go downstairs and take more shots. 5 dabs. Who wakes up from their drunken sleep to go downstairs and drink more? I mean, that's just horrible, and that just shows you that he's the real problem with his, alcohol drinking. 5 dabs. Bobby for losing in bowling. 10 dabs. We did a bet on Monday where everybody on the losing team would get 10 dabs, and Bobby was on that losing team. So 10 dabs for Bobby. Me for losing to Bijan Robinson. 4 dabs. I mean, I think I'm probably the only person in the entire world who lost to a team that played Bijan Robinson this week. I mean, that is unbelievably embarrassing. Yeah, I'm just blown away that I lost to Bijan Robinson. Me for calling Will a cutie. 3 dabs. I was trying to make a point about how Will should go talk to this girl that was at the bowling alley, and at some point through it, I called him a cutie, and that was pretty bad. So 3 dabs. Hunter. So okay, this is where it's going to get a little complicated here, but um, we had plans. Hunter was like, "Yep, I'm down." We had plans to go to the shooting range with Bobby on Thursday. And Hunter backed out last minute. He said, I can't go to the shooting range because I have to study for my test, right? So first of all, you study. First of all, if he had to study for his test, why would he just now be like, I got to stay home and study for my test? Like when we made the plans the day before, he still had the test. So why would he not think on Wednesday to be like, hey, I can't go to the shooting range. I have to study. Instead, he thinks of it Thursday, an hour before we have to go. Oh, I have to study for the test. It's because he didn't actually have to study for the test. And that's where we get into here. And then he proceeded to go hang out at Greg's all night. 4 dabs. So just to recap, Hunter, Wednesday, yeah, let's go to the shooting range. Thursday, an hour before we go, oh, yeah, I can't go to the shooting range because I have to study for a test. And then an hour after that, instead of studying for his test, he goes and hangs out at Greg's house. 4 dabs. It should be more, honestly. This is Hunter for backing out of the shooting range last minute. 3 dabs. Just backing out of anything last minute is dabs. Hunter for not showing up to our soccer game in the morning when we could have used him. 2 dabs. Hunter for telling Will he couldn't go bowling because he was going to the shooting range. 4 dabs. Now, as we've established here, Hunter didn't go to the shooting range. So Hunter used the shooting range as an excuse to not go bowling with Will. And then he used studying as an excuse to not go to the shooting range with me. And then after all that, he just went over to Greg's house. 4 dabs. I hope we're all following this. Hunter for trying to hide the fact that he was going to Greg's from Will. 3 dabs. He wasn't answering Will, wouldn't tell him what he was doing. Will showed up to Greg's and was like, oh, man, you're here, Hunter? I thought you were going to the shooting range. I thought you were studying. He wasn't. He was just hanging out. 3 dabs. Hunter for his confusing and vague texts. Now, I have my own, but I had Riley send me some. Everyone should know Hunter's texts are insanely vague, and he does that purposefully so that he can get out of anything. So if he doesn't actually tell you what he's planning on doing or what he's thinking, then you can't really blame him for not doing it. So Hunter, in our text, I said, "Hey, our game's at 12:15 tomorrow. Are you coming?" He said, "You need the players!" Exclamation point. That's not an answer. That's not a yes or no. I said, "You coming to the game? You need the players!" Exclamation point. I said, "We do. So I hope you're coming." And they didn't respond to that. And then he had this text exchange with Riley that goes, he texts Riley. He says, "Want to kick the ball around?" Riley says, "What time?" And then he says, "In an hour." So this is normal. Um, and then Riley says, "I'm in." I'm in, basically. And then Riley says, "Where are we playing soccer at?" Hunter says, responds to, "Where are we playing?" He says, "Will's out." And then Riley then goes, "So we're not playing?" And Hunter says, "I'm down no matter what." And then Riley says, "Yeah, I'm still in if everybody else is." And then and then Hunter says, "If, just if." And then Riley says, "What field are we going to?" Fowler. Riley says, "Okay, what time exactly?" And then Hunter says, "I'm taking a shower, but right now it's just me and you." And then Riley says, "Okay, are we going?" And then he doesn't respond. And then Riley asks him to go to the gym. And Hunter says, "Riley Snow, you should go to the gym now." Anyway, I don't know if any of that made sense, but his texts don't make sense. They're insanely vague. He does it on purpose so that you never really know what he's doing. It's very frustrating. All right, Hunter for having messed up fingers on Sunday. We all went like this, put our fingers like this, and ours all normal people, their fingers line up. Hunter's go like that. They're like crooked. Hunter has crooked fingers. They look like this. Like it's weird. So 2 dabs, Hunter for asking me about bowling times, 2 dabs. I'm not going to go into it too much, but um, on on Monday he calls me. He's like, "What time is bowling?" I was like, "I don't know. The Saturdays are the bowling family. Bob Saturday bowls all the time. He like I don't know what time the free bowling is. Like I don't like. Why don't you ask your dad or your brother or Tyler who bowls all the time?" Hunter for breaking down, given the smallest amount of responsibility. 3 dabs. People were asking Hunter, "What time is bowling? When are we going bowling? Who's going bowling?" People just wanted to know some, facts about the whole bowling plans. And Hunter was just breaking down on the couch, like, "Oh my gosh, I have to explain this to people. I don't know what to do." He was getting into fights with Bobby about it. It was just like the smallest amount of responsibility for Hunter. He just shut down. It was pretty wild to see. Hunter for not playing foosball, 3 dabs. Hunter for losing in bowling, 10 dabs. Greg for getting upset when I asked him about Josh Downs. I yelled to Greg after Josh Downs got a touchdown. I said, "Hey, did you start Josh Downs?" And he was like, "No, over Mike or whoever." He was like, "Over Tyreek Hill?" And I was like, "No, like I didn't say you had to start him over Tyreek Hill. I was just asking if you start." And then he was like, "Who would you have started him over? Damian Pierce?" Like he started getting very. I'm like, "What is going on here, dude?" Like I just asked if you started him. Like it was crazy. And Tyler was sitting there next to me. He was like, "What is wrong with Greg?" He was like, "Why is Greg?" Like he was just asking if you started him, and Greg's like sitting there like, "What would you have started him over Christian McCaffrey? Like what?" And I was like, "No, like I just asked if you started him, dude. Like I didn't like." It was strange. It was really really strange. Like the Tyreek Hill thing was actually something he said. I asked if he started Josh Downs. He's like, "What over Tyreek Hill? No way." I was like, "Okay." Anyway, that was 5 dabs. It was crazy. Ask Tyler about it if you see him. Um, Greg for being desperate for dabs, 3 dabs. He's always asking me. Tyler said I should give him dabs just for being desperate. Will for coming to our 11 a.m. soccer game with a single slice of pizza that he didn't even finish, 3 dabs. So Will apparently for breakfast stopped off at like Papa John's and got a single slice of pizza and proceeded to eat like half of it at 11 a.m. and then throw it away. It was really weird. Will for owning a bowling ball, 1 dab. Will for saying dabs are irrelevant, 5 dabs. Logan for not taking matchups into account and fantasy, 3 dabs. Um, I was like, he said like, oh, like something about Brock Purdy and how he had a bad week, and I was like, well, dude, he had a bad matchup. Like, you got to think of the matchups. And he's like, well, like what is Cleveland like a bad matchup? And I was like, yeah, it is a bad matchup. And I was like, do you not look at matchups? Like, it's literally gives you a color even of if their matchup is good or not, red, green, whatever. And he didn't realize that he doesn't take matchups into account really at all. So yeah, that's 3 dabs. And then I give him another 3 for not knowing the colors. Logan for getting mad at someone for auto drafting and then auto drafting himself. We were playing basketball fantasy draft and someone auto drafted. Logan got super upset. He was like, "What the heck? Why are people auto drafting?" And then he himself proceeded to auto draft James Harden in the 3rd round. That was hilarious. Logan for getting viciously mad at me for the dabs again. 5 dabs. Logan for losing in bowling, 10 dabs, and then Doug for losing in bowling, 10 dabs. That was a long one, but Logan won. No, no, no. That's Hunter winning with 39 dabs. I'm sorry, Logan. That's Hunter winning. And then we got most annoying player. I moved to most annoying player after the dabs because the dabs kind of explain why everyone's annoying. So I'm giving it to Hunter for the texting habits, backing out of plans, lying about backing up in plans, the messed up fingers, not coming to a soccer game, um, just breaking down when he had the responsibility of planning a bowling event. Hunter most annoying. Now I don't know. See, I'm going to go back here in a minute and give Hunter the dabs mark and take it away from Logan because I gave Logan 3 when anyway I messed that up, so I'll fix that. Where I was wrong, I thought Ashton and Logan would win, and they both didn't. Sorry about that. I was also wrong about Alvin Kamara. He's been sick. I really, and I'm not just saying this, so the fantasy, for reverse psychology, I'm really not. I really think Alex onto something here, and I really think he's going to beat me. My team after this week was really not looking good, so I'm locking that in. I'm not even joking. No TikToks. All right, random rankings here. We got a number of things that are very interesting. I would say this is a really bad week for Logan in random rankings, and you'll see why. So we have Caitlin. She comes in for who will get a girlfriend first, and she's looking over at me like wondering what I'm going to say.
And he always never takes into account my
Yeah.
notes. So
No,
don't listen to a word he says.
I take into account the notes. Who would get a girlfriend first? These are just two random pictures I had. Alec. So me, first of all, me and Ash aren't in it. But Alec, I kind of helped her with that one because Alex supposedly might even have a girlfriend right now, but he always has a girlfriend, never, goes without it. Bobby, apparently the same way, never known him to not have a girlfriend. Dylan, number 3 for who will get a girlfriend next. Um, yeah, Hunter number 4 because I think at least Hunter kind of Hunter is out there a little bit maybe, so we'll give him 4. All these options are bad, but Will number 5. Will is also throw some feelers out, even though he kind of chickens out here and there, but he put some feelers out, so we'll put Will at 5. Sam at 6. We don't know Sam, but we don't feel, or Caitlin doesn't feel very confident about the next couple. Connor 7. I will say I just remembered this. Connor is on the apps a little bit, so maybe Connor could be a little bit above that.
I didn't know that.
But she didn't know that. I just kind of remembered that. Logan 8. Logan is apparently not trying, and I don't know when he's gonna start trying. And then Greg and Doug clearly aren't trying at all. So 8, 9, and 10 for that. We also have Caitlin doing another segment with the Swifties, who is most likely to be a Swiftie. Ashton, I kind of helped her out with that one because we know about the Chelsea Cutler thing. Now, Taylor Swift might be a little too mainstream or a little too like happy and not depressing for Ash, but I still think he's a safe bet. Logan, number 2, not sure what that's about, but I kind of can see that. I could see Logan being a Swifter. Me, which is ridiculous because I really don't like her that much. I like a few of her songs. Greg, I feel like Greg Loki kind of really likes her. Hunter, Will, Dylan, we'll go down the line. Alec, Doug, Connor, Bobby, Sam in the Swifty rankings. Now, this is when we get interesting. I had one of my old male coworkers who anyway, he's in the group text. Tracy, my coworker who always ranks you guys, he's in the group text about that, and he always comments on your guys' pictures. He's like, "Wow, that guy looks like a douche. Oh, that guy looks stupid. Oh, that guy must be gay or something." And so I was like, "Hey, why don't I have you do like a tool or a douche ranking of everybody just based on their pictures?" So he gave a look. I consider him an expert. Um, and out of 10, we got Alec is a 10 out of 10. Um, in like the tool rankings, we got Logan with that picture, a 10 out of 10, of course. Ash with that. I mean, the fact that that picture of Ashton's on the internet is just alarming. Dylan at 7, Will at 6, Hunter, right here, 5 out of 10. I think Hunter should be higher with that picture. Bobby, 3 out of 10. Greg, 2. Doug, 2. Con and Sam are the least toolish, I guess. So good for you guys. All right, this next one is the next two are kind of weird. Doug Giles, he has a coworker that is, I was told, swings both ways, um, as as they say, or as at least Doug says. And anyway, he gave us a nice attractiveness ranking. So we got Greg. I mean, the dudes love Greg. I mean, this is the second dude that's ranked Greg number 1. That's alarming. Logan with that picture right there. Number 2, Will. Number 3, Ash with that picture is number 4. That's wild. Dylan 5, Sam 6, me 7. That's I'm not even gonna acknowledge that. That's ridiculous. Hunter 8, and then Connor, Bobby, and Alec, and that's the picture I used for Bobby. So that's hilarious. And then we have, I'm just going to go, Doug's coworker did size rankings. That's all I'm going to say. Size rankings. and he gave Logan number 1. He gave Greg number 2. I mean, the dudes love Greg and Logan, I guess. I mean, there you go. It's funny how they think Greg's more attractive, but Logan, anyway, that. Will number 3, Alec number 4, Dylan number 5 with that picture. Like, are you serious? Ashton number 6, Cameron number 7. That's disrespectful. And then Sam, Hunter, Con, and Bobby. Bobby again with that picture. Can't blame them. So that's what we got. Do with that information what you will. That is the end of the video. Thanks for watching, and have a good week, I guess.